Now, when you enter this fight, he does appear like right in the center, like front and center, ready to go, not at a distance like the other Berserker fights. And I did lose a few times to this fight. I don't know, it didn't seem that difficult, but it's more of just kind of testing your endurance and memorizing his patterns. So what you're gonna see here is the yellow circle coming out right out of the gate. I went ahead and parried that, did a double L1 tap, and I went ahead and hit him. Now, I had already lost health and I went ahead and healed up. And what I did here is I went ahead and immediately started cranking out the Storm of Bifrost. You don't have to have that, but I started doing all of my, light runic attacks to kind of trigger that. He does do a jump attack or a leap attack with a yellow circle that you can block or parry, as you saw earlier. So here I'm just kind of doing my rotation of my light runics out of the gate, building up that stun meter. What you're seeing here is a massive poison puddle here with a red circle. So once you see that, get out of the line. You'll see him saying the subtitles here, fall in line. I don't read the subtitles when I'm playing this. I just don't think to look down to see what he's saying. But if you're looking for or wanting to hear for audio cues, he'll say fall in line, and that, the poison puddle comes out. And this is what I did is I would just immediately just start rolling, double tapping dodge and get out of that. It does do some pretty nasty damage if you're stuck in it. So after you get out of that, I went ahead and started doing my ranged attacks to kind of keep that DPS up and the stun meter up. Does stagger him with the spear. I did trigger Storm of Bifrost. I go in for a few more hits here. And at this point, I want to wait to see what he does. Now, I want to pause the video here because he rears back. And if you saw, a very fast red circle appears. When he rears back like that, he's getting ready to do a very charged, like a fast dash. So you need to either sidestep or just play it safe and do a double dodge to get completely out of the way. Now, when he goes into his position to reset, you can run in and get a few hits in here, which is, you can see I'm doing on screen. And I did that because I know he's in like in this animation lock for a good, 2 to 3 seconds. He starts leaping back like so. Now get ready, because when he starts jumping back, almost always he'll do a red attack or a yellow attack. In this instance, he does a yellow jump leap attack right at you, which you can just simply sidestep, followed by a yellow circle. For me, I'm using the parry shield, so I tried my best to either dodge or parry throughout this fight or throughout this video here. Once you get that out of the way, go ahead and get some DPS in. He'll start hopping around like you see. Most of the Berserkers do this already. Now here he goes again. Let's see what he does after he jumps back. Here's a double circle, double blue circle. And I don't know if I made it in time. Okay, I did make this in time. So that's another thing too is, and I mentioned this in my other guides, is you want to have a good mid-range distance. So if you start seeing him jump back, try to keep up with him. Try to keep your, that good balance of that mid-range. You know what I mean? Not too far, not too close kind of a deal. So I went in and got the double blue circles. I start knocking out my heavy runics because I'm trying to trigger Storm of Bifrost, which again, you don't need Storm of Bifrost. You can go in here with your level 1 gear and do this. It's all about memorization and patterns and seeing what he's up to. You know what I mean? So just adjust. So now Storm of Bifrost is triggered. There he goes again. He's jumping in the air. Now, if you time this perfectly, you can actually knock him down. So if you throw your spear or your axe, you can actually pull him down. I didn't do that here. So what he does here is this 4 fireballs come out, and this is extremely familiar with all the other Berserkers. There's nothing new here. But if anyone's catching this video, try to time, when you see this, try not to react immediately. Try to wait 1, 2, 3 seconds and then dodge. I know it's very hard in real time to do that, but just trust me, just whenever you see that come out, just get ready to kind of have a late, a delayed dodge, okay? Here he comes in with his 1 punch and then 2 punch. You can either block or parry these. They're pretty easy to parry in my opinion. I actually broke his stun meter, so he actually staggered. There's always a follow-up swing after that, but I just staggered him. So I went in, did my double L1 tap, started kind of, unleashing my combo here, getting some deeps in, letting Freya do her thing. And then now I'm basically waiting to see what he does. Now he hops back, he jumps in the air, and this attack here, and somebody, if you're watching this video, are you able to pull him down right here? I don't think I ever did, but what he's doing, he raises his hand, and he does all these lightning. See, I just threw my axe and he didn't fall down, so maybe that's a no. But he does all these lightning bolt attack moves that you need to move away from. You'll see these huge, not lightning, but ice. He'll do these huge red circles. I think there's 3, and he'll do them in motion. He'll do them in an order of where you're running. King. They follow you around the arena. The next move he does here is a line move that you can either dodge or block. It's easier just to block. Once he does that, he comes right towards you and does a right punch and then a left punch. You can block or parry that. So I parried 1, parried 2, and now I did my double tap L1 to increase the stun right there. And then you can get a few hits in, which is I typically try to get. And then right here, he does another 1 combo and then 2, block or parry that, double tap L1, get some more stun up. Right now, there's nothing new that you haven't seen yet. And here's another red circle. This is a line lightning attack that goes straight down, and it doesn't have tracking from what I remember. You can simply just get out of the way. I always have in the habit with these fights of dodging to the right. I try to do that. So here he goes in the air again, and I think I knocked him down. Okay, so you can knock him down before the red circle appears. So if you're like really quick, you have a good reaction time, throw your axe or your spear to bring him down before the red circle goes out. I don't think you can bring him down after the red circle. So if anybody has done that, let me know in the comments. So here he goes again. He's starting to leap back, and what I didn't do here is I didn't keep up with him, but he's throwing these 2 ice balls. Okay, you can block these or parry them back at him. I think I parried them back. There's 1. And here's 2. Yeah, I parried both of them back at him. Then he comes right at you with a yellow circle. Now, here's the thing. If you are a parry player like I am, just wait it out. When he raises his hands in the air like that, just wait it out. Like 1, 2, 3, count it off in your mind or out loud, and then go ahead and parry. But there is a really awkward delay. So again, 1, 2, 3, and then boom, you can parry that and do a double tap L1 to increase the stun damage. You can see his stun meter at the top. He's getting ready to stagger because the stun meter is all the way up, and you hit a few times and then boom, he staggers, which takes off a good chunk of his health. You can get in like probably anywhere from 3 to 6 hits here before he's getting ready to move back or jump up in the air. I went ahead and knocked out my runics because I wanted the Bifrost Storm to kick in, but I don't think I did that here. Yeah, I didn't pull it off. Okay, here's another part of his health that he comes up with that shield. Now, obviously, when you see this color, you don't want to use your axe. I made a goof here. I didn't switch in time. But typically, when you see this color, you want to switch over to your spear. You can knock this down with your Blades of Chaos, but for me, when I see this color, I switch over to the spear to knock down that shield. I don't know why I didn't switch over fast enough. Here I went switch over to the Blades of Chaos. He does the leaping attack, like he says kneel before me. It's the same move that you've seen with other Berserkers. Nothing new. And it's also reminiscent of the Valkyries from the 2018 God of War, where they say, "For Asgard." It's the same moveset. So what I do is I count to 3 in my head. I'm like 1, 2, 3, and then I move over. You can move over once or twice, whichever you want to do. I did twice right here. And so you go in for a quick R1. Here he goes again. It's another red circle leap up in the air with a poison puddle, count to 3, move over to the left or right. And then sometimes he does 3 in a row. But that time he didn't. He comes in with a yellow circle. I went ahead and knocked out a few of my runics to trigger Storm of Bifrost, which I'm doing here on screen. And then he does that crazy poison puddle that you want to back out of, which I'm trying to do here. That's another thing too, is you want to have that good range. Always be aware. Be ready for his next move because it's always unpredictable. Every fight that I did was always different. He was getting ready to do his leaping attack, but my spear runic stunned him and kept him from leaping up in the air with the poison puddle. So he's jumping back again, try to keep that nice distance. He does a yellow attack move, which you can block or parry that. I think I was panicking and I just kind of moved over to the right. Here's another move. Same, he raises his hands up in the air. You want to count to 3. He'll come down and boom, you can parry that. Do your double tap L1, get some stun in. And now you want to kind of just sit back and wait to see what he does or apply more DPS. He actually does this really quick move with his axe. It's very fast. It's faster than what you're seeing here for sure. There's no indicator. There's nothing saying it's about to happen. You just have to watch his body language when he rears back and he does that thrust. That's how I knew. And I saw it plenty of times in all my losses prior to this one. I kind of recognized what he was getting ready to do. He follows up with this red circle, which I always dodge to the right, but I think I went left because he's actually holding the axe with his left hand. So if I dodged right, I probably would have been clipped. So I went left this time. And then it leaves him open for a few hits you can get in because he is in an animation lock. And then here, I want to wait to see what he does here. Does he leap back twice like he always does? And he does. And this time he's in the air. So again, I don't know if you're quick enough to knock him down before his red circle if that happens. But I didn't make it in time. So here what he does is a move that you saw from another Berserker fight, which is these fireballs that go down. And there's at least, I don't know how many exactly, I would say 7 to 10 maybe. And they are random. They are random spots. There's no pattern at all. It's not following you around. It's just super random. And so what I tried to do is just run around in circles and just really look to see where those were and get out of the way. Once he falls down, you have an open window to get a few hits in. You'll see that he jumps back quite a bit. And here remember that we talked about earlier, he rears back with the red circle. What's he going to do? He's getting ready to do his charge, dodge to the right, get out of the way, go in for a few hits. What does he do? Another poison puddle, get out of the way. That's one thing, as I was mentioning earlier, is always be on your toes. Always expect the worst, biggest move and just be ready to react or adjust to what he's about to do. It's all about memorization, watching for and listening to audio cues and his body language. I knocked out my runics here for the Storm of Bifrost. Those were ready to go. All the cooldowns are ready. Now he does another element of the same move. Before, remember, it was like they were like ice balls he was throwing at you. Now they're lightning balls he's throwing right at you. You can block or parry these back at him. I don't know why I dodged that, but I think I parried this one back at him, and I did. Yeah, that does huge damage. So here he goes again with another punch that you can block or parry. He always does 2 of these unless you stagger him. Then it breaks his animation. You can get 3 to 6 hits in depending. And then once you get this out of the way, he almost always leaps back. He does 2 leap backs or he flies up in the air. Here goes 1 leap back. He's probably gonna do another leap back. Nope, he got staggered again by Freya's arrows. Now he's jumping back in the air, and this is where I should have thrown my axe to bring him down, but I didn't do it in time. Oh, I did. I'm actually glad we're doing this because his red circle came out and I knocked him down. So you can do it if you're fast enough. I think if the red circle was already out, he's up there and you can't bring him back down. I could be wrong. I hope someone's here watching that can confirm, yeah, you can bring him down. So here you go. Here he goes again. He's up in the air. He has his shield up and I'm still using the axe. I should have switched over to my blades or spear, but here he goes again. Here's that same move that he does with the 4 balls, but they're different this time, a different color, but it's the same animation, same damage type. But this time I think this is Bifrost damage actually. And this is, again, when he does that, you want to be patient. Count out loud. 1, 2, dodge. 1, 2, dodge. Because if you dive too early, you're going to get hit. And that is Bifrost. That's nasty. Here goes another 1, 2 ice ball that you can block or parry back at him. That does some pretty good stun damage and this damage overall, which I was delayed on that one. He comes in. I did switch to the spear. Wait, 1, 2, parry, double L1, boom. If you see the storm that's around that is a shield attachment in case you're wondering. It does storm of a regular, like a random element. Like it does fire, frost, and lightning, I think. Don't quote me on that. It also does storm of Bifrost. I don't think it does poison. I never saw it. Speaking of poison, he does this, so go ahead and leap out of that. Nothing, I think from this point forward, there's nothing that you haven't seen yet that I remember. He comes in, here you go. Now he's got the fire element in his hands, but he does the same animation. It's a 2-punch, 1, 2, blocker parry, double L1, get the stun in, and then try to get that shield down as best as you can. Here he comes in with a yellow circle that I think was animation locked. It was canceled because of Freya. Now he does do a punch, like a dive punch in the ground that does a line attack of fire that I just simply block. You can dodge that. It's just easier to block it. And then now this move is fast. This move, I had a hard time dodging, but he comes in really fast and the yellow circle happens after he's already like coming at you. So by the time he does it, your reaction time may be a bit delayed because of the yellow circle coming out. You'll see what I mean in full speed. Here he goes again with the 1, 2 hands up with the yellow circle. You just want to go ahead and parry that or block it, and then you want to get some stun damage with your shield. He does another 2 punch, one with the left, one with the right. You can block or parry those. Again, there's nothing new here. It's all really pretty much the same animations he's doing. He leaps around again to the other side. Now here he goes. He jumps back in the air, and I don't think I brought him down. Yeah, here we go with the same move we just went over a few minutes ago, where it's the fireballs in random positions. I actually made a goof here. I ran in for the healing when I really should have just paid attention. I was punished for that because I was too focused on his health going down. I was trying to go in for the kill. Here we go again. Same moveset. Left punch, right punch, parry or block, going for the double L1 tap with the shield. And then I started knocking out the runics for another storm of Bifrost, which I'm hoping will overlap the storm of fire by the time the fire is out. So that's what you're seeing on screen now, is I'm kind of going through my runic rotations. And once these are over, I'm trying to wait to see what he does here. He leaps back once. He got staggered by Freya's stuff there, and he leaps back again. Now, this move we have not seen yet in this fight. We have seen this in many other fights. He actually throws out a massive fireball, which you want to quickly take out with your axe or your spear, whichever you have equipped, and then just go ahead and knock that out. But at the same time, if you noticed, at the same time, he does a leaping attack because your attention is on that big fireball. So he does this leap attack. So you got to be ready to adjust for that. He does 2 in a row. So here's the second one. 1, 2, 3, dodge out of the way. I went ahead and healed up here. He does a third one. So before, he only did 2. Now he does 3. That's why I'm saying you always want to be ready for all 3 of those dives with the poison. Be ready for 3. But there were times where he just did 2. So you never really know. You just got to kind of have that adjustment ready to go. So here he goes up in the air again. I threw my axe. I knocked him down before the red circle went out. So you can do that quite often if you time it just right. You know, kind of getting him out of the air, you know? So he jumps back and leaps back again. That constantly happens. And here you go again. He does that. He does like a spin move, red circle. That's how you know the 4 balls, and you don't know what element is going to come out yet. But regardless, it's the same timing, right? You want to count to 1, 2, 3, and I misjudged that. And I got hit pretty hard with Bifrost damage. Look at the Bifrost on my meter, on my health. It's pretty bad. So he does the 1 leap. This is the second leap. Count to 2. 1, 2. Dodge over, nothing new here. He does a third leap, right? It's the third time. Count to 2, dodge to the left or right, whichever, and then go ahead and get your damage in. And then from here, I don't believe there's anything that you've seen that you haven't seen yet, but let's go ahead and wait this out and see how the fight ends. So again, I'm going through my rotations. I actually pulled him out of his animation. He was getting ready to do his giant poison puddle as you noticed, and I actually pulled him out of that with the runics. So that's something you can do if your runics are up. So that's a big gamble. Here he goes with his spin to win. He does 2 fireballs, which I dodged, though I don't know if I blocked or parried the other one. Okay, I ended up parrying it back at him. And then he leaps in with a yellow circle. When you see him kind of leap in, it's almost always a yellow circle. Again, you want to count to 2. 1, 2, block or parry. I parried this one, and then I did a double L1 tap for extra damage and stun. His stun meter's getting to be almost at full capacity. Now here he's getting ready to do a really quick yellow move. I parried that. I think that was a lucky parry on my part. Double tap L1. Now you see the R3. You end up getting the victory. If this was helpful, you guys drop a like on the video. Let me know how your Berserker fights are going. Thanks for watching the end, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video and or live stream. Take it easy. Bye-bye.